obviously drove by the adoptive parent of man-made intelligence, Jensen, Nvidia, and Carl, as I would see it. This simply addresses our bullishness about why I think this tech buyer market proceeds with well into 2025. Where do you suppose the greatest danger then, at that point, is? Is it from Nvidia's way to a 30 trillion valuation in the speedy and steadily developing universe of innovation stocks? Nvidia has solidly secured itself as a prevailing player. The organization has encountered sensational development, set apart by taking off market capitalization. While its ongoing valuation is now great, a few experts and financial backers imagine a significantly more aggressive future, a 30 trillion market cap. This elevated projection is basically determined by Nvidia's focal job in the thriving man-made brainpower, simulated intelligence, of evil. Today, we will dive into Nvidia's way to this likely valuation, investigating the main impetuses behind its development and the difficulties it might look en route. Guideline or something different? See, the greatest? What's more sultry than Tesla stock this year? Something would be worth a huge number of dollars soon. The interesting restricted release Cybertruck collectible. Our underlying stock disappeared right away. Hit that connection underneath. Try not to pass up a major opportunity, old buddy, is the China. Since when you contemplate US-China cold tech war, I imply that perhaps longer term is the greatest danger. Yet, for this moment, a few of us invest a ton of energy in Asia. I simply don't see it as a contained danger, and I think it got going as semis and clearly drove by Gens and Nvidia. Be that as it may, presently which is beginning to happen is the interest in the utilization cases, the multiplier. We think for each dollar spent on Nvidia GPUs, the new oil or gold, there's a $4 to $5 multiplier across tech, which is the reason I trust this fourth modern unrest, this 1995 second, is presently working out. Be that as it may, not a 1999 second. I think it'll keep going for one more 2 to 3 years. I referred to you toward the beginning of today, 9 o'clock a.m. party. I believe it's 9 o'clock p.m. going to 4 o'clock a.m. all right, on the grounds that we addressing sort of party began at 9 o'clock a.m. Indeed, on the grounds that, look, this, in light of the fact that somewhat, when you take a gander at where we are, this is quite recently beginning to at last work out according to an interest viewpoint. And I think significantly, obviously, it's been driven by Nvidia and what we've seen. However, presently the thing we're seeing across our checks all over the planet is that the artificial intelligence upset is working out in programming. And I think eventually it will work out in numbers, since those numbers will go higher for 2025. Is it true that you are alluding to this idea that equipment is starting to eat programming or make it simple to begin a product startup with insignificant designing? Steve and Sarah, we're conversing with Dell, yet I think it simply addresses, assuming somebody let you know Dell was an artificial intelligence player a half year prior, you'd say, what are you referring to? Look where we are currently. Take a gander at profit, and I think how the situation is playing out now, it's its equipment, its product. Yet it's truly making a renaissance of development for every one of these introduced bases. That is the reason, look, what's going on with profit. Take a gander at what Nadella and Redmond are doing in Microsoft, and obviously, you'll have air pockets, very much like we saw MongoDB, Salesforce.com. However, I view those as air pockets in a man-made intelligence upset that is coming. Be that as it may, would they say they are all man-made intelligence victors? Not the slightest bit. In any case, I figure you will have victors and failures. I thoroughly consider the following 6 to a year will stay here and be like victor failure. Do they get obtained? Does the board need to eventually? Has the clock struck 12 p.m.? In this way, you will see clear champs and washouts working out. In any case, that is the reason this round of lofty positions weapons contest that is working out. It's occurring across tech from Dell to Cisco to Microsoft to Profit. Stand by. Who's the failure? All things considered, I think when you take a gander at failures, you see, similar to Oak, where does Cisco play? That is the reason Cisco does Splunk on the grounds that that is a forceful arrangement as far as where they're looking. Take a gander at SATP. What they're doing versus Profit. Is Profit the victor? I think for the time being Profit is. And afterward, I believe it's a great deal of the, at the point when you discuss failures, a ton of the specialty programming stages, as the solid get more grounded. Those are actually the ones that at last beginning to really see, I think, request disintegration. Also, they're going to see the value and the potential for Nvidia's future development, it's fundamental for check its previous presentation out. Over the course of the last 10 years, Nvidia has exhibited a capacity to quickly scale. The organization's persistent development and vital acquisitions have permitted it to keep an upper hand, encouraging supported development. Nvidia, we discussed it 2 or 3 weeks prior before their profit. They declared that 10-for-1 split back in May. The offers are up 40% from that point forward. Since the split produced results this month, they're up another 8%. Couldn't say whether you got our discussion with Rich Bernstein, top of great importance, discussing this very question. Do you stay with the authority, with the gigantic profit development, or do you go with the remainder of the market? You've been sure about your perspectives on Nvidia. At any rate, simply a little side note. So we got this item here, which is known as the Cybertruck with trailer. You'll track down it in the store, and we should proceed. For what reason would you stay you are bailing here? Indeed, I think you need to take a gander at where everybody is posting on the boat at this moment. In the event that you look, there are 89 purchase evaluations, 5 holds, and 0 sell evaluations, and this is an organization. At the point when they discussed their stock split, which was required, when they discussed the stock split, you saw the market move higher. It's up another 10% since that declaration after it really split. So we are right here, added. $1 trillion. Kelly, I believe we're so molded to these numbers. However, this isn't typical. I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I know Bounce Bunny was discussing XLK. They will be rebalancing and going up. Yet I think we need to comprehend assuming we're purchasing these names since retail will approach it. We should make a stride back and recollect that the 10% of the richest Americans, they own 93% of the financial exchange. So I believe that retail input is a tad of a misnomer. I will simply let you know this. I was at a gathering pledges meeting an evening or two ago, and they said, "Where are we going to get the cash from?" And everybody said, "You get it from stock benefits because that is all individuals have." And afterward, individuals are speaking up and saying, "Goodness, definitely every one of the children at school, they generally own Nvidia." Better believe it, and for sure, it has been a wonderful stock, and it sounds good to possess this. In any case, I think at some second in time, when we discuss how everything becomes real, this stock's up 800%. So I think we must be accommodating that the air might emerge from the inflatable in Nvidia. Nvidia's verifiable achievement gives areas of strength for it to its aggressive future projections. In spite of its true capacity, Nvidia's excursion to a 30 trillion market cap isn't without challenges. The organization faces tough opposition from other chip producers, and the innovation scene is never-endingly advancing. Furthermore, administrative investigation might strengthen as artificial intelligence innovation turns out to be more unavoidable and persuasive. The serious scene for man-made intelligence equipment is furious. Contenders like AMD and Intel are additionally putting vigorously in artificial intelligence advancements. To keep up with its authority, Nvidia should proceed to improve and remain in front of these opponents. This includes growing all the more impressive GPUs, as well as extending its product environment and manufacturing key organizations. The race for man-made intelligence predominance is a persistent fight, and Nvidia should stay cautious and proactive to remain on top. As computer-based intelligence turns out to be more coordinated into day-to-day existence, worries about protection, security, and moral ramifications will probably prompt expanded administrative oversight. Nvidia should explore these difficulties cautiously to support its development direction. This includes working intimately with controllers to guarantee consistency with advancing regulations and guidelines. Going along with us presently is Doug Clinton, Deepwater Resource, the board overseeing Accomplice, and a portion of the focuses you make, Doug, are fascinating. However, I figure it checks out, considering what we're seeing with computer-based intelligence. Yet you call attention to that valuations in tech are somewhat topsy-turvy. Regularly, programming organizations exchange at a 30% premium to equipment organizations on an income different, and presently it's equipment at a 15% premium to programming. And afterward we go on. There's another, something different to the extent that income, same story with profit. Yet everything no doubt revolves around man-made intelligence. And the build-out is beginning in equipment. And not too far off, I surmise we'll see programming.